Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. What was once a joyful countdown to forever has quietly turned into a deeply emotional moment for Peg Munson and Mel Owens, leaving fans unexpectedly heartbroken. For months, the couple had spoken with warmth and hope about their future together. Their wedding plans symbolized not just love, but healing, second chances, and the belief that happiness can arrive even after life's toughest chapters. Fans followed every update with excitement, convinced this love story was headed toward a beautiful celebration. But recently, things changed. Sources close to the couple reveal that their wedding journey has taken a somber and reflective turn. While no dramatic fallout has been confirmed, it's clear that Peg and Mel are facing emotional challenges that force them to slow down and rethink certain plans. Instead of rushing forward, they've chosen to pause, putting honesty and emotional well-being first. Peg, known for her openness and grace, has always believed that love should feel safe and steady. Mel shares that same belief. And that's exactly why this moment feels so heavy. Sometimes love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timelines. It's about facing reality together, even when it hurts. Fans noticed the shift almost immediately. The excitement around venues, dates, and celebrations faded, replaced by quieter messages and thoughtful reflections. Support poured in from everywhere, with many expressing empathy and respect for the couple's decision to take things one step at a time. What makes this story so touching is not disappointment, but maturity. Rather than pretending everything is perfect, Peg and Mel are choosing honesty. They're reminding everyone that real love doesn't always move in a straight line. It pauses, it questions, and sometimes it asks for patience. While the future remains uncertain, one thing is clear: the bond they share is still rooted in care, respect, and deep emotional connection. Whether their wedding happens sooner, later, or differently than planned, fans continue to stand beside them, hoping for peace, clarity, and happiness above all else. In a world obsessed with fairy tale endings, Peg Munson and Mel Owens are showing something even more powerful: the courage to be real. As days passed, the quiet surrounding Peg Munson and Mel Owens began to speak louder than any announcement ever could. Fans who once celebrated every joyful update now found themselves reading between the lines. Small changes in tone, fewer public moments, and a noticeable shift toward introspection. Those close to the couple say this pause wasn't born from doubt about love, but from the weight of real life pressing in. Both Peg and Mel have lived full lives, shaped by past experiences, responsibilities, and emotional scars that don't simply disappear with a wedding date. This moment forced them to confront truths that are easy to overlook when excitement takes over. Instead of letting outside pressure guide them, they chose something rare: intentional stillness. Peg has always believed that love should bring peace, not pressure. Behind the scenes, she's been focusing on clarity, asking the hard questions, listening to her heart, and making sure that the future she's stepping into truly aligns with who she is today. Mel, equally thoughtful, has stood beside her with patience, understanding that strong relationships are built in moments like this, not just the happy ones. Fans have responded with overwhelming compassion. Many shared personal stories of relationships that paused before growing stronger. Others expressed gratitude for seeing a love story that feels real, not rushed or staged. In a space often filled with perfect images, Peg and Mel's honesty has struck a powerful chord. What's especially moving is how they continue to show quiet respect for one another. There's no blame, no public tension, just two people navigating something deeply personal with grace. It's a reminder that love isn't proven by how fast you move forward, but how carefully you treat each other when things feel uncertain. While the wedding plans may look different now, hope hasn't disappeared. Those closest to the couple believe this period of reflection could ultimately strengthen their bond. Sometimes stepping back is exactly what allows love to move forward, stronger, wiser, and more grounded. For now, Peg Munson and Mel Owens remain united by something deeper than plans or timelines: mutual respect, emotional honesty, and a shared desire to do things the right way. And as fans continue to watch, one thing is clear: this story isn't ending. It's simply unfolding at its own pace, reminding everyone that the most meaningful love stories are written with patience, courage, and truth. As the weeks moved forward, the story of Peg Munson and Mel Owens became less about a wedding and more about what happens when love meets reality. Those close to the couple say this period has been filled with long conversations, the kind that stretch late into the night. Conversations about expectations, fears, and the kind of future that can't be rushed or forced into a picture-perfect frame. It hasn't been easy. Growth rarely is. Peg, admired for her warmth and emotional strength, has been taking time to reconnect with herself. Friends describe her as thoughtful, calm on the surface, yet quietly processing the weight of every decision. She understands that choosing love also means choosing responsibility, and sometimes that realization can feel overwhelming. Mel, on the other hand, has remained steady, not distant, not cold, just present. He's been giving Peg space without stepping away, showing support without pressure. It's a balance that speaks volumes about the respect they share, even in uncertain moments. Fans continue to notice small but meaningful signs: a shared glance caught at a public event, a subtle message that hints at hope rather than heartbreak. Nothing dramatic, just gentle reminders that the connection is still there, quietly holding on. What makes this chapter so powerful is its honesty. There are no rushed announcements, no forced smiles, no pretending that love alone solves everything. Peg and Mel are facing the truth that commitment isn't just about joy, it's about readiness, and readiness doesn't always arrive on schedule. Support from fans has grown even stronger. Many say this story feels different because it mirrors real life. People fall in love, make plans, then realize that healing, timing, and understanding still matter. Seeing Peg and Mel honor that truth has inspired countless messages of encouragement.
One thing is becoming clear: this pause isn't about walking away. It's about protecting what matters most. Love that lasts isn't built on momentum. It's built on care, trust, and the courage to slow down when something feels fragile. As this journey continues, Peg Munson and Mel Owens are reminding everyone that not all love stories move forward with fireworks. Some move forward quietly, one honest step at a time. And sometimes, those are the stories that last the longest. As winter nights grew longer, so did the silence surrounding Peg Munson and Mel Owens. But this silence wasn't empty, it was thoughtful. Friends say the couple wasn't drifting apart, they were listening more than speaking, letting emotions settle instead of reacting too quickly. Peg has been spending time reflecting on what marriage truly means at this stage of her life. Not the celebration, not the headlines, but the everyday moments that follow once the excitement fades. She's been asking herself whether joy can be sustained beyond the vows, and whether both hearts are moving at the same pace. Mel has been doing the same in his own quiet way. Rather than pushing for answers, he's focused on consistency, showing up, staying kind, and proving that love doesn't disappear just because things become complicated. Those close to him say his calm presence has helped ground the situation when emotions run high. One source described a moment that touched many around them, a simple walk they took together. No cameras, no plans, just conversation. It wasn't dramatic, but it was meaningful. It reminded them why they chose each other in the first place, before wedding discussions, before expectations, before outside noise. Fans, meanwhile, remained deeply invested. Online messages reflect empathy more than judgment. Many say they see their own stories reflected in this pause, the realization that love doesn't always follow a timeline, and that slowing down can sometimes be an act of courage. What stands out most is the care Peg and Mel continue to show for one another. Even in uncertainty, there's no sign of bitterness or distance. Instead, there's patience, and patience often reveals the strongest kind of love. While no clear decision has been shared, hope remains present. Those closest to the couple believe this chapter, though heavy, may become the foundation for something stronger. Love that survives uncertainty often emerges more honest, more resilient, and more deeply rooted. For now, Peg Munson and Mel Owens are walking forward without rushing the destination. They're choosing understanding over urgency, truth over appearances, and emotional safety over expectations. And in doing so, they're reminding everyone watching that sometimes the bravest love stories aren't the loudest ones, but the quiet ones that choose to keep going even when the path feels unclear. As time passed, something subtle but meaningful began to shift between Peg Munson and Mel Owens. The heaviness that once filled every conversation slowly gave way to understanding. Not answers, just understanding. And sometimes that's enough to keep two people moving forward together. Those close to Peg say she's reached a quiet realization. Love doesn't disappear when doubts appear. In fact, doubts can sometimes point toward what matters most. She's been learning to separate fear from intuition, recognizing which concerns come from past wounds and which ones deserve careful attention. Mel, too, has had moments of vulnerability. Friends say he's opened up more than ever before, sharing fears he once kept to himself. Not about love fading, but about getting it right, about honoring Peg's heart without losing his own sense of self. These conversations haven't been easy, but they've been honest. There was one evening, described as calm but emotional, when they finally spoke about the future without deadlines or expectations. No dates, no pressure, just possibilities. It was the first time in weeks that both felt a sense of relief rather than uncertainty. Fans noticed a quiet warmth returning, a brief smile during a shared appearance, a gentle message that hinted at reassurance rather than distance. Nothing loud, but enough to spark hope among those who have been rooting for them from the beginning. What makes this chapter so powerful is that it's not about fixing everything at once. It's about rebuilding trust in the process. Peg and Mel are learning that love doesn't need to be rushed to be real. Sometimes it needs space to breathe. Support continues to pour in, with many fans saying this journey feels deeply personal, even familiar. It's a reminder that relationships don't fail because they slow down. They fail when people stop listening, and Peg and Mel are doing the opposite. As they move forward, the path remains uncertain, but no longer heavy with fear. Instead, it's filled with cautious hope, mutual respect, and the understanding that whatever comes next should feel right, not forced. For Peg Munson and Mel Owens, this chapter has reshaped what commitment means. It's no longer about plans, it's about presence, about choosing care over speed and truth over expectations. And as this story continues, one thing is becoming clear to everyone watching. Sometimes, love doesn't move forward with certainty, but with quiet courage, one honest moment at a time. As the days went on, Peg Munson and Mel Owens began to understand something important. This pause wasn't a setback, it was a mirror. It reflected truths they hadn't fully faced when everything felt exciting and new. Peg has been leaning into calm routines, grounding herself in moments that bring clarity rather than noise. Friends say she's been more centered lately, less weighed down by uncertainty. She's no longer asking when things will happen, but why they should. That shift alone has brought a sense of peace she hadn't felt in weeks. Mel has noticed the change too. Instead of feeling anxious about what comes next, he's grown more intentional. He's choosing steady presence over big promises, understanding that trust is rebuilt through consistency. Each conversation now feels lighter, not because the questions are gone, but because they're being faced together. There was a quiet moment recently that meant more than any announcement ever could. Sitting together, they laughed, softly, naturally, for the first time in a while. It wasn't about forgetting the tension, but about remembering the connection beneath it. That laughter reminded them both that love still lives there, waiting patiently. Fans continue to sense the shift. Messages of encouragement have turned hopeful, with many expressing admiration for how thoughtfully the couple is handling this chapter. Instead of disappointment, there's respect for the courage it takes to slow down in a world that demands quick answers. What stands out now is the emotional maturity guiding every step. Peg and Mel aren't trying to prove anything. They're simply choosing honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. And that honesty has begun to replace fear with understanding. The future still isn't defined, and that's okay. What matters is that the bond between them feels more grounded than before. Stronger, not because everything is perfect, but because they've faced uncertainty without turning away from each other. For Peg Munson and Mel Owens, this chapter has reshaped what commitment means. It's no longer about plans, it's about presence, about choosing care over speed and truth over expectations. And as this story continues, one thing is becoming clear to everyone watching. Sometimes, love doesn't move forward with certainty, but with quiet courage, one honest moment at a time. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.